So, Ben, you and I, we're the sort of people who like to play with our food when it comes to TV. We like to dissect what works and what doesn't work for us. Have you ever considered applying this to beloved TV show Doctor Who?
Sometimes you want to go up to a writer, grab them by the lapels and scream, "What does it all mean?" They might just ramble off something about deadlines and time crunch, and then you shake them and scream, "That won't fill a blog or a video essay."
Look, there's motifs you can pick up in the showrunner's work and stuff they like to return to, always. But a way we actually could do it, and you and I toyed with previously, was looking at the companions. Characters who do have a set start point and end point, you know? Who are brought into the series to explore something specific, in most cases. And I just thought it'd be really cool, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this before. Try and sum up their story, their journey in, like, 3 words. 3 words maximum, yeah?
Do we do this chronologically?
Yeah. I don't know about you. I wasn't going to do any of the classic companions. I'm not interested. That would be a task. What is the theme of Dodo Chaplets? Let's break open the character. This isn't going to be a video essay. It's the opposite of a video essay. We're trying to condense and be less verbose than usual, which is going to be a very big challenge for me.
You guys can do all the work in the comments section. We might just throw something very wild at you, and you have to make sense of it.
That's exciting. Let's do it.
So, Rose, I believe the 2 words that you reached when we discussed this first were class and wanderlust.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds like me. When Russell came back to the show, like, class is like the first thing you see when Series 1 comes on. It's part of the reinvention. Rose Tyler's class matters more than any other companion we'd seen before, because it's an actual drama.
I think it comes up every now and then in the classic era, but it's something the revival, especially since Rose has really honed in on. The Doctor is an aristocrat. Let's explore that. Let's give him a foil that will really bring out those issues. You can tell from those first few episodes a lot about those characters based on who they gravitate to in the sidecast.
Yes, in End of the World, Rose can't make heads or tails of the future until she meets a maintenance worker, an engineer of the serving class on Platform 1. And then boom, she hates the future. I love that. Gwyneth, same with Gwyneth. Nobody is looking out for Gwyneth in that story other than Rose, you know? But at the same time, I want to counter my own point. I think that describes every revival companion. Or maybe like every companion who follows Rose, especially in the Rusty Davies years. They're using Rose as the formula. So Donna cares about the little people. Clara definitely does. She's just a template.
9 goes from dismissing Mickey as just another stupid ape on this planet to saying in Father's Day that the most important thing is a ordinary man. That's Rose's influence. The Doctor's always kind of believed that, but Rose is bringing that out in him.
Maybe instead of class, I actually think we should do domesticity. Balancing domesticity and wanderlust. Series 1 is very much about hating her life and her lot in life and wanting to escape it. Series 2, I think she kind of falls in love with it again. Because she's managed to, like, tame the Doctor and get him into the family.
It's also a search for meaning. It's not... Because the revival clearly isn't dismissive of ordinary people and ordinary lives, but it's just, you know, finding a purpose, you know, making a difference. It's not just working in a shop.
He taught me a better way of living my life, Mum.
That's it.
That's how she describes her love for the Doctor. He improved her. And that goes both ways.
And it's better than being a cog in the giant machine that is late-stage capitalism.
Serving chips. Even in little ways, I think that rears its head in Rose stories a lot. All of their wanderlust feel like space and time dates. There's that great bit in Impossible Planet where she's actually okay with settling down all of a sudden because they get stranded, as long as the Doctor's there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's cool that her punishment is domesticity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's something to that. And maybe going forward, we have to look at how these characters are written out to work out what their story was.
Oh, is it really stupid of me that I didn't realise that the really obvious metaphor going on in Series 2 about the two worlds that can't be together, the two worlds colliding, and that's not sustainable, applying to the Doctor and Rose?
Yeah, man. There's so much in that series that goes completely uncelebrated.
It's so obvious now you think of it. I'm still got the literacy of a 6-year-old.
It's very close to us, Ben.
It's a blind spot. We just see Cybermen and we go all goo goo gaga.
Rose Tyler has always existed since I was at least age 11. You know what I mean? Martha! Martha Jones. What do we have?
It's interesting that you said we need to look at how they're written out in order to get the whole journey. With Martha, I think it's very worth comparing to Rose. Even in the Doomsday Fate, when she had no doctor, she still got her dad back, got a mansion, and got a calling defending the Earth with that universe's Torchwood. Martha returns to the same family who had all the baggage that made her leave at the start, but now they've got a ton more baggage. So it's a net loss.
I guess Francine. I guess her mum and dad are getting back together. Maybe.
Mutual, devastating, horrific trauma. Is that healthy?
Oh. These are the sort of questions that Martha has to ask and Rose doesn't.
I put risk versus reward. I notice in Series 3 there are a lot of societies going through quite dire straits, and they're clinging on to something, whether that's the people in Gridlock clinging on to hope and religion, and you've got a similar deal in Utopia with the last of the humans, to even stuff like Hooverville. They're just clinging on to...
And Jack clinging onto the TARDIS. Yeah, many such examples, yeah.
Yeah. She does put a fair bit of faith into him, but she does wonder to herself, okay, how much can I do this before I have to bow out? That is risk versus reward.
Okay.
If you be around the Doctor, amazing things can happen to you, but also terrible things, and you gotta ask yourself, is that worth it?
Oh, so you're placing loads of the onus in this is me getting out. Okay.
I think that's fair.
Would you not say the same about the Moffat companions, though?
With Amy and Clara, they had good days and they had bad days, but I wouldn't argue that the Doctor was a net negative in their life the way I would of Martha.
Okay. There's your 3 words. Net negative, Doctor. Do you want to go ahead with the 3-word thing? I think it's a good way to make sure we stay succinct.
Risk versus reward. I will stick with that.
I'm taking a different angle. I think she's introduced by being the main parent of the family. She's the one holding everyone together. She is the responsible one. Her story is one of feeling invisible. She's clearly someone who's living her life for others. From being a doctor to keeping her family from fighting. And then, I guess risk-reward can come into that because she does treat herself. She steps onto that TARDIS and goes, I deserve this.
You said also responsibility as well. I don't think what happens in Series 3 is treated as punishment for Martha for getting in the box. I just think, it's just more of a mark in her favour that when the people in her life really needed her, she stepped in. She's a doctor.
Yeah, and she solves the plot more just as frequently as the Doctor does. The Doctor is taken out of the story, and even then when she does that, she gets taken for granted. I think the Doctor acknowledges her saving the day one time in Series 3, which is nuts.
Is it weird to say that Series 3 might be one of my favourites just because of how grimy it is in my memory?
It looks grimy. It is a grimy grimy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Standard definition CD back alley series. Yeah, like she says. So you're taking me to the same places you took her, but I get the slums.
Thankless.
Absolutely thankless. So I think that has to be factored in. But I won't wrap all of it around her relationship with the Doctor. She's such a loud character in her own right. So I'm going to say my 3 words are taken for granted. No, I like living for yourself. I think that's the moral of Martha.
Yes. So Donna, one of the easiest ones, and I do mean that as a compliment.
Easy peasy. That's a sign of a really well-written character with a clear point to make. Donna's the reason we're even attempting this video, you know? Let's say it together. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Self-worth.
Your one was better. Yeah, it's clearly there on the page from our first episode to last one. Well, not. How are we factoring the 15th Doctor stuff into it? We're not, right?
Yeah.
Let's just not.
I'm it's hurting my brain trying to do it.
We have absolutely nothing. We're picking up with Donna in the specials to further the Doctor's story. You know, it's just to continue. It doesn't factor into her journey from Runaway Bride to Journey's End. No chance.
To give it the most credit, the fact that she and Rose let the meta crisis go in the end, maybe that's something she doesn't need.
Donna didn't let her. Donna was kicking and screaming.
Originally, but all it takes is a time gap. This is 2020's Doctor Who character development, Sam.
Okay.
We're so good at it now, we could just do it in between cuts.
Right. Get that shit down. 2 minutes and done. On to the next thing.
Amy, another very well articulated one. Doctor Who ruined my life as a child.
That's not 3 words, but I'll allow it.
Blue box bad.
Yeah. Doom love triangle.
The sad childhood fixations. Sadness inside of a childhood joy.
That's good. That's really good. When it comes to early Moffat, you're my guy. All of Moffat's companions are kind of the same companion. It's not even a complaint. But I see a lot of what I love. I just choose to see it in Clara instead. Whereas you balance it a bit.
That's fair. With Amy, people have made the case that if Stephen Moffat has a self-insert, it ain't the Doctor, it is probably Amy. He waited for Doctor Who to come back. Probably makes the Big Bang, the story of Amy bringing Doctor Who back at the end. That probably strikes a quite close chord with him.
It's the iconography we keep coming back to. The show itself calls her the girl who waited right up until her final season. And then at the end, they're separated, yeah.
Yeah.
They're still waiting for each other, displaced by time, even in their final story, thanks to Rory. It's the story of her life. So I think that one's kind of cut and dry. The 3 words: sadness inside childhood. That's weak.
Blue box show bad. I did it. It's even alliteration. I think some people might call her arc a story about maturation, and I think there is that in there.
We see her across her whole life. It'd be weird if we didn't. But I guess that itself is a choice.
Yeah, but it's also just, healing from a lot of stuff. Sometimes that's handled really well. Sometimes
Asylum with the Daleks.
Which I don't even hate that aspect of it, but
I love that episode, but if it's all you're getting, there's the problem.
Yes, I think that's fair to say.
Childhood memories? Complicated.
Fair.
It's complicated.
It's complicated, guys.
Rory. Easy, I think.
Doctor versus nurse.
Yes, that's wonderful. That's so perfect. That really does collect all of it, doesn't it?
Yep.
Because Rory is never antagonistic with the Doctor. It's always just a strained relationship with someone he knows he respects, but doesn't always respect his methods or thinks he loses the human touch. Yeah. There you go.
We did it!
The prioritizing of people and humanity. Yeah, that's every medical drama. When there's a story focused on Rory, when he gets center stage, it's about Amy, and it's about the Doctor. So I think that's really, he's destined to be in a supporting role. There's a comic that actually shows us that he did become a Doctor eventually.
Yes.
In later life, which I think is fantastic. Gets the girl, gets the medical degree, gets the moral high ground. Doesn't get a fulfilling relationship with his daughter. You want to do River?
Oh, yeah. Doomed, question mark, relationship,
Boo.
No. Boo. Okay, no. No, better one. Horrors of predestination.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that sounds bang on the money, but that was very fully formed. Run us through it.
When the Doctor first meets River, she dies. Until that point, she has to know that every time she sees the Doctor, he's going to know her less and less from her perspective. And it is just... there is no avoiding it. Same way there was just no avoiding Lake Silencio. Well, there kind of was. But there was no avoiding what happened to her in Demon's Run. There was no avoiding the influence the silence had on her life. There's just things you cannot avoid.
There's one part of River that always stands out to me, and it's how annoyed... she's furious when she shows up in Good Man Goes to War. She gets to finally tell the Doctor who she is, so it ends on a good note. But when she shows up, it's very much a, how dare you? You caused the worst day of my life. Where was I? What were you doing? It's wonderful. I always think about that with River. And yeah, it does add that bite to her story. My version is just the Time Traveler's wife. Time Traveler's wife.
Yep, that's pretty succinct.
All of that stuff, by the way, is in that book. Aubrey Niffenegger, lots of the stuff Moffat is doing, I think, is captured in that book, as we will find out with the next companion as well.
You said something about couples make one another, but you said that might apply more to Clara.
I think it has to, because they truly pull a performance at the end and become each other. They are so codependent that Clara is the Doctor, and the Doctor becomes a lot like Clara. Yeah, it's another 9 Rose situation where they're becoming more like one another. But what makes this version special is that it's viewed as a negative for the first time. It's codependency. So I think that has to be one of the key words, because it's what dooms her, and it's what honestly has her spiraling since Series 8.
I'm making a lot of noises with my mouth. Feel free to cut those out.
Compile them. Sam, in the edit, compile them.
No! Something I only just caught on recently was you talked about in the Time of the Doctor video, you talked about Clara falling in love with the ideology of Doctor Who, with the story, not just the man.
Rose loves the Doctor, Clara loves Doctor Who.
Amy feels like someone who found Doctor Who as a child and, never quite got over it. And
Us.
And then Clara has an adult understanding of Doctor Who. Like she doesn't really meet the Doctor until she's an adult, as opposed to Amy.
She's already a caregiver by the time we meet her. She's already looking after kids. She's already in a position of responsibility. Remember that observation she makes in Hyde, I think, where it's like she just has a very profound adult's reaction to the Doctor hip-hopping through time.
Yes.
She's an adult. She's been through her own tragedies already.
She's got the kind of love and admiration that you can only articulate as an adult. when she's talking to the Time Lords in Time of the Doctor through the crack and why the Doctor is so special. That is her video essay. That is us.
Yeah, but two people becoming each other or creating one another, which I think is the most lovely idea I've heard in fiction for a hot minute. That's all there in Time Traveler's Wife. More so Moffat's TV version of it. His adaptation does everything that Clara and 12 do. I'm very impressed we managed to work Series 7 Clara into this.
Yeah, I think it's there. Maybe not in every episode, but like it is fair to say that Stephen had ideas even back then, because these are his concerns, these are his fixations. He's always going to be thinking of stuff like this.
I've got one extra for you. How about compromise? Clara is such an equal to the Doctor, and they disagree so much, quite famously, that they're always having to come to compromise with one another. Kill the Moon is the most obvious example. But the flashcards, you've got Clara having to learn some lessons the hard way in, say, Flatline. They're constantly giving and taking in their relationship as well. So what's our three? Codependency, compromising...
Kerfuffle. Codependency, compromising...
ChatGPT, summarise our conversation and find a word that summarises it, beginning with the letter C.
I'm trying to think of a word that stands in...
How about just companionship?
Companion, yeah.
Because she is the companion as well.
Go on then, let's do it.
And the Doctor's her companion too? Is that, come on, is that, if that's too fluffy, if that's too flowery, you have to let me know.
I don't know. I'm trying. What's one word for video essayist? That's what she is. We're moving it on.
Okay. You really wanted to do Valerie from 11th Doctor Chronicles.
Yes. I listened to that a little while ago, enjoyed it, but I was racking my brains going, okay, so what's the thematic core of Valerie? And you rightly pointed out that a lot of her stories are about her identity.
We won't be doing any other EU characters, but for you and I, Valerie is as canonical as it gets. and I mean that as in she is part of the stories that need to be told. She is just up there with Donna and Martha. She just is. She just is. And that's because we get such a good idea of who she is, because we're told in such detail.
Absolutely.
Time and time again in these clever stories that are explicitly all around who she is and who she isn't. How many times are there characters who come into these stories and try and tell Valerie who she will be in the future or who she's not allowed to be? Including sometimes the Doctor. Wonderful character. Miracle character.
And exactly what 11 needed. There are points where Valerie has to set up boundaries, well-negotiated boundaries with her friend, who unmistakably is her friend. They do care about each other. She does like him a lot, and she knows he's trying his best. But she's...
just going through quite a lot right now.
She's aware of his flaws.
And she will draw her own lines for the Doctor. Yeah, I like that. It sounds familiar to a lot of other revival companions, but it's really not. It's got an extra step of craft, I think. She even has to negotiate with her own future. She's shown people come in from her future, and she has to say, I don't know how I feel about that. Not yet. Will I ever be the sort of person who can be with you? What? That comes straight to my head. I love Valerie. But at the same time, self-identity is one of those cheat answers. It's like saying the theme of this Avengers movie was family. So can we make it more specific? I think the Doctor ends up learning the moral of self-identity a few times, but it's a constant for Val.
Yes.
Yeah. Pick an aspect of Val's identity, and there will be an episode on it. You've got her sexuality explored in the Cyberman story, which is about gay conversion therapy. Being an orphan, that comes up quite a few times. A future wife, an idea she struggles with as an amputee, obviously. That is at the forefront of a lot of these episodes. Even her identity as a companion has to get shaken and reaffirmed. Val is constantly defining not just the boundaries of others, she's constantly defining who she is. And I know every companion's journey is you're more than you thought you ever could be. But Val keeps getting surprised of all the things she can and will be before the end of her life. And that's awesome. It seems I am yet again recommending the 11th Doctor Chronicles. I'm going to go for knowing yourself as a theme. Potential and self-identity.
Yep, I'm happy with that.
Let's go!
Bill
Potts.
It's a struggle with this one, not because Bill is a bad character. We love Bill. It's just because Series 10 is the only true series we've got of post Hellbent Doctor Who, really. Doctor Who is about as good a character, as good a person as they're ever going to be. I guess less of a struggle with Bill. There's... but it is there. There's so much character development in episodes like Thin Ice. That could be a whole series arc for lesser characters, but...
They do it in one.
If I'm using Clara and Amy as almost like examples of different kind of fandom, then Bill is...
a new fan.
Not actually. I was actually going to say maybe a post-Who fandom kind of person, because you point out that her thing is kind of poking fun and loving jabs at, sci-fi cliches and things with Doctor Who.
Bill Potts is a capital N nerd. She is the continuation of Izzy, my beloved.
When you're at the most, I guess, maybe content with Doctor Who, or maybe it's the kind of humour you see with like very old fans, and I guess sometimes writers, where they're just kind of making jokes about Doctor Who, and they're having fun with it.
They've made their peace with the programme, and it's become this fun little warm oddity to them again.
Yes.
Okay. Well, she's a student. That matters very much. But I think the most important thing with Bill, which for some reason I took issue with this at the time of broadcast, because I didn't know if Stephen Moffat knew what he was talking about. It's her sexuality. There's going to be a lot of overlap with Valerie. That's not that much a surprise. These are the show's two most explicitly gay companions. And there's another conversion therapy metaphor there too. So...
Yeah, I think it's topical. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna go with it's a different kind of love. It's post Who fandom. I don't think those are my 3 words on it, but that it's something.
I think that's a crazy angle to take.
I don't know.
I like it. I'm just sort of bewildered. We're just at a stage where we're post Who fandom.
We are all Bill.
Bill loves the show. Bill would have kept traveling.
We love the show, right?
Until she was donutted.
Right?
Yeah. I'm going with being yourself unapologetically, which is similar ground, but I can't think of anything more suitable for Bill.
I think the ones I had were lessons put into practice. No, that's 4 words. Can into be 1 word?
Just for you, Ben. Just for you, Ben, this time. I tell you what, buddy. I'll give you 4.
Lessons put into practice, because while, 12's come a long way, it means Bill gets to benefit from this knowledge and this developed sense of morality. She internalizes what he has to say in Thin Ice, and whether that's, the right answer or not, it is progress. His character development, almost. She's getting his experience. So that's something.
Hey, Ben. 1 word. Graham?
Actually, there are... Yeah, I'm going with that.
Yo, yeah? You've got something for Graham?
I like that you're giving me a second chance here. In 3 different stories, at least, he is presented with an unhealthy coping mechanism for his grief. Which it sounds like a wild thing to say, but it actually is kind of true. In Arachnids, he goes off with the Doctor basically to get him out of the house. He joins the TARDIS properly as an alternative to being stuck in the house with cobwebs and Grace cameos. In It Takes You Away, rejects this false version of Grace. And then in the finale, he doesn't shoot Teeth Man. He puts him in a cubicle, and that's the magic of his journey.
Do you think maybe being there as two of our three words might be a good shout? Because in the absence of his dad, Graham is at the funeral. Graham does leave the TARDIS with him. He's there for these core moments of Ryan's life. The importance of being there, is that, especially in Rosa, where it's very important that they're there.
Edit that out. Edit that out, Sam.
I think Chris Chibnall is always pushing that soft, slightly northern sense of community, and that does tie into just being there for people. It's not revolutionary, but he has one of the more interesting motives for joining the show, and he's nothing if not consistent. Or you're doing it, mate. No, that's not true. Soft shoe shuffle.
So Ryan.
Hat. Next.
I'm letting you make all these jokes. I don't think these are good jokes, but I've not got any better jokes. So I have to sit here in silence and seethe.
Ryan's tricky because we love Ryan. We defend Ryan Sinclair. He's just a kid. He's just a quiet, likeable, charming, charismatic kid who is given almost nothing. So we have to headcanon it in, which has been a great joy. But if we have to talk about what's actually on screen, I'm struggling.
I don't really feel qualified to talk about, this dyspraxia and whether that was, and how that was handled, because I honestly don't know.
That would be a mad theme, though. You know what I mean?
Well, no, but yeah, no.
Grief, self-identity, dyspraxia.
I wasn't just going to say dyspraxia. I wasn't going to say that, but we have been factoring in, details of their personal life in order to reach the theme.
Yeah, I'm with.
I genuinely.
I'm just playing with you.
Why every time we do one of these? You make fun. you poke at me.
I did get another comment saying that I'm too mean to the people I have on, which I found fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, that was me.
You have it coming. That was me. It's the sad truth.
For agreeing to be on your channel, for being your friend, I'm compromised morally.
I'm sorry. What am I meant to do with all these guys that everyone just keeps spawning?
What?
And I'm making as good a go of it as I can, alright? Ryan Sinclair. We have to go to the heart of his drama, which is him rejecting Graham and practically all of Resolution. Do you think that that's his strongest moment as a character? Because I definitely do.
Yes. Oh, actually, this actually might tie everything we get from Ryan together. There's picking and choosing parental roles. He he considers them, and then he reaches decisions on them. Over Series 11, he's going back and forth a little bit with Graham.
There's a lot of dad speak. There's a lot of dad speak in Series 11, even some of the subtler stuff. The dad who abandons them. Remember 13's words? Remember 13 writing on the wall?
Yes.
To Ryan, that she might have lost her dad?
Yeah.
That's for Ryan. Delivering a baby. Being there in the Saranga conundrum. There's a lot of dad. There's a lot of dads.
With 13 as well, to a lesser extent, because ultimately he does leave the Doctor at the end. I guess you could make a case that the whole of his journey is about deciding which parental figures he's going to keep.
Choosing your family. How's that for our three? And I think viewing the Doctor as a mother might be our headcanon Ryan taking over again, because he's one of those characters that screams, I want to be more interesting, because there's just so much potential. But as he stands, he's a great emblem of masculinity. He starts the show a very angry, moody teenager, pushing away Ryan and wanting to shoot guns, and he finishes the show an upstanding, lovely heart of the team. These are kind of reaches, but if there's one thing Ryan Sinclair does, it's considering his own fam. The wonderful Doctor of Oz calls him the sweetest person the Doctor has ever met.
He's the first one to tell 13 to deal with everything she's been learning with the timeless children. He's the first one who gets her to open up at all in that one scene in Revolution.
It's just a coming-of-age story, but that's not a problem. I'd say a good third of stories are coming-of-age stories.
Yas.
There was a silence there.
Remember this was going to be a short video.
Hiding the body.
Stop it.
Yaz kills a man and throws him overboard. I just want people to remember that. Okay, if I'm being serious, we know what her motivation is, if not her journey. It's, I want more time with you. She was abandoned on the side of the road. She had no friends, show tells us.
What are you talking about? She had the second Doctor.
We're not including expanded media this time, buddy. That's a nuts fact. So it has to be about her really great origin in Can You Hear Me? And we have to all the way through to her end, where she just wants more of the universe. She wants more time with the Doctor. She can't go back to being on that side of the road, maybe. I definitely took that angle when I was writing for her. We could talk about my version of Yaz.
No.
Down with the man. Deaf to capitalists.
Yeah, but also we're going off the TV. I think it's fair for us to talk a lot about Power of the Doctor here because, we did say earlier that, the ending can kind of sum up what the character is all about. So I don't think it's a real knock against Yaz if we mainly go off Power of the Doctor. That is a factor in Chris's work. Someone pointed out there is a lot of characters wishing they had more time or stuff like that. That they used a couple of other examples. Ham salad roll.
That's not good. That's nothing.
I read off my sandwich packet.
That's not gonna help us, Ben. Commitment, saying goodbye.
Support. Because the support network for her at the end of Power of the Doctor feels explicitly for her.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. A sad point, but a good point.
I mean, she's getting free therapy. She's doing a lot better than me.
3 words. 3 words.
Can we just use Blue Box bad again?
No, because that's... I want to do that for all of them from this point onwards. We will quote the Sacha Dhawan Spy Master and say, unlucky in love.
Oh, that's good, actually. No, yeah? I genuinely like that. There we go.
Okay, sure. Let's do Captain Jack.
Okay, that's another easy one. Immortality sucks. There, we did it in 2.
If we need 3 words, may I add a immortality fucking sucks? Just to really emphasize how dreadful this man's life is.
My favourite Doctor parallel, my favourite Doctor surrogate, because he's so bad at it. It's all the worst traits of the Doctor without a semblance of the success.
I learned it from you.
I'm doing everything right. I'm keeping secrets from my friends. I'm abandoning them. I'm using a fake name.
I'm crying over women from my past. The one way he really does fall away from the Doctor is that he chooses the utilitarianist angle every time, whereas the Doctor at least is under illusions that he doesn't do that. So you have to implement that. Immortality sucks, and he's a failed Doctor surrogate. Failed Doctor surrogate is pretty good, but I think we can go deeper. How about utilitarianism and tragedy?
Yes.
Simple.
Yeah.
Covers everything. Utilitarian tragedy forever.
That's so bleak, but it is just the truth. Makes mistakes forever.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really, really good. You also put here, is death good? Which is more the theme of Torchwood.
Yes. If we do it with Owen, no, with Owen it would be, is life good?
Oh God, Liv.
Save that woman.
Yeah. Cool. All the Doctor Who companions and Owen Harper. Love it. Love it. Okay. Do you have anything else? I think we keep going for speed now.
Yeah.
close to the
Nardole.
Take it away. I have no
Nardole.
strong feelings on Nardole.
Nah, he's just blatantly a 12's
Maid.
guy
in the chair.
And yes. And he can stand up to 12. I think that's something impressive about him. And 12 chooses him to look after all the kids fleeing the Cybermen. But no, I think we'd be reaching, if we tried to reach 3 words with him, we would be reaching even more than like any of Chris's characters.
Yeah.
We just would. We can skip. We get one free pass, and no one will begrudge us for using this on Nardole.
It's Cinenerdle rules. I love it. But as a result, Ben, we now have to do Dan. We have to do Dan Lewis.
Dog botherer.
Hey! Hey, don't bring that on this channel.
You already have.
True.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I lowering the standards?
Yes.
By spawning in?
Yes. Previously, and I quote verbatim, "fucking your dog" is what you wrote previously.
Don't leak the group chat.
Would you like to speak to this, Ben? Benifer.
They just stole my heart. My OTP. Well, it's okay. Oh, no, actually, I did have something for Dan.
I love watching
I did think
this.
of something.
I love listening to this. Please tell
No,
me.
I actually genuinely did have a little something. I said Martha had the net negative of meeting the Doctor. No, it is Dan. Because of Carvendista, who was her companion, he lost his house. Because of Flux, he almost loses his relationship.
Got no wife, got no food, got no dog.
The adventures that he goes on are seen as a barrier to his date, to his love life, and he has to bail on it. I think at first, he is probably the most ordinary companion, I think it would be fair to say, and he's just been caught up in a global event, and he's us during COVID.
Hey, people always tell me that Flux is about refugees. I ask you, who is more a refugee than Dan Lewis? Than John Bishop? Interesting little places we're going to in this
When
one.
I chanted earlier, refugees are welcome here, I didn't realise that applied to John Bishop.
He's a plasterer.
I've lost interest in Dan, I'm going back to myself.
It's interesting because, like, the show never actually says that he's a plasterer. That was all behind the scene interview stuff. But it does still perfectly describe him, even if he might not be a plasterer.
And he's the one instance where the show just isn't really doing anything for him, that he's not going on a journey and becoming out of it necessarily a better person. He's not discovering something about himself, and he's not he doesn't get a spin-off at the end. No, it is genuinely, everything that happens to him is just a disruption to his life, that's kind of interesting, I guess.
I think you could actually make a point on how, when we meet him, he's at a food bank, even though he has no food back home. And then in the TARDIS, he has no love interest, but he's still helping others with their love life.
That's lovely. That's really nice.
That is a link I've never made before. It's like he's always, as like a default, putting other people's needs before his own.
Yes.
Even though he's not doing good. So is there 3 words for that? Take the soup. Take the soup, I think has to be it.
Go on then.
Yes! Okay.
You broke me. You wore me down.
I think it encapsulates a lot about the guy. That very warm, close to our hearts character, Dan Lewis. He's a plasterer, by the way. Leaving one era and into the last? Ooh, question mark? Well, for now, Ruby Sunday. Should we start with Jack's one? In the chat. In the chat, Jack put, hi, bye. Which made me laugh a lot.
Best thematic analysis I've heard of season 1. Ruby, obviously, is taking the foundling angle of the Timeless Child and incorporating it into a new character as a parallel and potentially a foil. We've got the abandonment issues. We've also got the magic that keeps coming up. Snow being powered by belief. I didn't really know what she expected to find when she got to her mother, because I don't think the series delves into that, or what her specific reason for finding it would be. She, like me, has an idea of what it's all about, and it's probably wrong, looking at shit and deciding you see something. And isn't that all what we're doing here?
Abandonment issues manifest, I think, is mine. But lots of that is obviously just from one episode. She doesn't have many. What do you want to settle with? Foundlings and magic? Or the abandonment issue?
I think maybe foundlings and magic is facts it all in. It alludes to stuff that the finale in 73 Yards was kind of going for, without having to land on a specific. Again, comment section, take it from here. Do better than us. We tried.
We love you.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah.
What a great video! You should watch these other videos. Then get them to engage with the video.
If you come up with 3 words we like for Nardole,